If this is the first time you've watched my videos, my name's Alessandro and I run my 5-figure agency that I've done for the past 2 years now. And today I just want to show you what happens if you stick with SMMA for more than 90 days consecutively. And by SMMA, I don't mean just paid ads. I mean anything to do with like website building, funnel building, copywriting, social media management, running ads obviously, anything to do with, really social media itself. And don't worry, I'm not going to give you the average work harder bro advice. I'm actually going to give you proper advice and categorize it into 3 different people who have 3 different amounts of time. The first person only has 1 hour a day, right? They don't have a lot of free time. They probably have a job, they have loads of responsibilities, but they want to start their own business. They want to learn, they want to grow, and they only have 1 hour a day. The second person is someone with 3 to 4 hours a day. Maybe this is for a student, maybe this is for someone who's working a part-time job. Maybe they have just a little bit of time and they just want to, build something bigger than themselves and start their own business. And the last person is for someone who has 8 to 10 hours a day. This is a person who has, unlimited free time, right? And they just want to spend as much as they can on it, on building an SMMA business. And yes, this is a hypothetical video. I'm not saying if you did the same work, you're going to get the same results, right? The results are going to vary for anyone. This is just a video to give you an example of what an amount of work can roughly get you in SMMA. And by the end of this video, you're going to notice a recurring theme from this. And I'm not going to tell you now what it is, but you're going to notice it. And I'm going to tell you at the end of this video what it is. So let's start the video. Let's break it down. Let's break down the journey. Let's break down the type of results you're going to get. Let's break down what you should be doing. And let's get started. So let's start with the first 30-day 1-hour person. If you only got an hour, obviously you don't have a lot of time, but these are the things you should be doing to at least head you in the right direction. The first 2 weeks is all about pure learning. YouTube, podcasts, learning, hell, even buy a course if you have to. Literally just cram as much knowledge as you can into you. And the last 2 weeks, you have to still learn around 45 minutes a day, so not an hour a day. And the last 15 minutes a day for 2 weeks is all about researching a niche, an industry, something that you think you can actually solve a problem in. By day 30, your goal is simple. Understand digital marketing and what you can specialize in, and understand an industry and a problem they have that you can fix. Obviously, you're not making crazy money yet, but this is just a way to start, and at least you're heading in the right direction. Now, the 3 to 4 hour person's first week is also all about learning. And after the first week, half should be spent on learning and mastering an industry, and the other half should be focused on outreach. From day 7 to 30, you should have tried outreach methods like cold calling, cold emailing, LinkedIn posts, LinkedIn messages, Instagram posts, Instagram messages. Really, there are thousands of ways you can do outreach, right? There are hundreds of YouTube videos that all explain the best outreach methods, and you should be trying a variety of all of them. And honestly, don't be surprised if you book your first call. If you think about it, if you do around 3 hours of outreach a day and you do it for around 20 days, that's around 60 hours of outreach. So if you get lucky, you can actually book in your first call. Now, looking at the 8 to 10 hour person, the first 10 days, it's literally all about living and breathing digital marketing. You're going to be picking a niche. You're going to be analyzing competitors, their offers, what offer you can do. Actually, obviously, spending maybe a whole day, maybe a couple days actually learning the digital marketing you want to learn. The first 2 days is just understanding the entire environment around you and what you can do to ultimately beat everyone in your space. The next 20 days is about massive outreach. At least 80% of your time should be going on to outreach. So with 8 to 10 hours, you should be doing around 6 to 8 hours a day of outreach. Obviously, you can keep on learning. I always encourage people to continuously learn as they grow, learning about new skills, new things that are obviously coming out. But obviously the majority, again, as I said, it should be about outreach. By the end of 30 days, if you've really put your head down and actually worked 8 to 10 hours a day, you should honestly have around 5 to 10 booked calls by the end of the first 30 days. All right, now let's look at day 30 to 60, starting again with the 1 hour person. The 1 hour a day, it's literally all just about showing up. You're gonna get better at cold calls, you're gonna get better at emails. Maybe you've even booked, at this point, maybe around 2 to 4 booked calls by this point. Again, now you're focusing more on outreach. The more outreach you do, the better you're gonna get at it. So your conversion rate naturally is just gonna get a little bit higher every time. Looking at the 3 to 4 hour person, it's much of the same thing. It's spending around 2 to 3 hours a day on outreach, an hour on learning, and just continuing that loop. Obviously the same thing as person number 1. You're gonna get better naturally, better at messaging, better at DMing, better at cold calling, better at emailing, and the results are going to stack up. By the end of the 30 days, so by day 30 to 60, you should probably see around 7 to 12 booked calls. And possibly with the 20% conversion rate, maybe you might even get your first client by the end of 60 days. And now the 8 to 10 hour person. This person is basically already running a mini agency at this point. This person is spending 6 to 8 hours a day on outreach, an hour on learning, maybe an hour on personal branding, and it's just continuing to grind over and over and over again. From these 30 days, this is around 180 hours of outreach, which realistically should book you around 15 to 20 booked calls. And from it, you can possibly sign around 2 to 3 clients from it. Now, let's look at the last 90 days from day 60 to 90. The 1 hour person is again putting his head down, grinding. As they gradually get better at cold calling and the DMs are starting to get refined just a little bit better every day, they're going to start to actually get more booked calls in. So by the end of the 90 days, they should have around 6 to 8 booked calls. And from those booked calls, there's a possible chance that they should sign their first ever client by the end of 90 days. Looking now at the 3 to 4 hour person, again, they're putting their head down, and when that 3 to 4 hour time comes, they're putting their head down, they're grinding, and again, they're doing cold calls, DMs, any type of outreach method that works for them. By this point, they know what's working and what doesn't work, what cold calling techniques work, what email DMing methods work, all of this stuff, and they're refining every moment, and actually booking calls is getting much easier for them. By this point, they should have around 15 booked calls by the end of the day 90. And from this, they should have around 1 to 2 clients. And from the last month of day 30 to 60, they should have a total of around 2 to 3 clients by day 90. And from here, scaling is just a matter of repeating what's working, taking away what's not working, and just building on again and again and again. And now the final part, the 8 to 10 hour guy. First of all, if you've kept the intensity for 90 days and you've worked again and again and again, no breaks for 8 to 10 hours a day, congratulations, because that is not easy to do. 90 days multiplied by 8 to 10, let's just say 10 hours of work a day, is 900 hours, almost 1,000 hours of work done inside 90 days. That is unprecedented commitment. And even if you had 1 day off a week, that's still 780 hours of work within 90 days. At this point, you should be getting around 1 to 2 booked calls a day. Not a problem. You're getting incredibly good at cold calling. Your emails should be getting, near perfection. You're building a really good brand around yourself. You're doing more personal content, personal branding than ever, and people are just starting to recognize you more. You're starting to get more followers, more likes, and really your voice and who you are. You're starting to make yourself more known to people in your industry. This should get you around 35 book calls within day 60 to 90, which should translate with a high close rate, since you've been doing this for 900 hours now, should be around 7 clients, which brings the total amount of clients from 0 to 90 to around 10 clients. So if you're not seeing those numbers, don't stress, right? This is just a hypothetical video I wouldn't say really, but in a perfect world where people make minimal mistakes. You're gonna make so many mistakes. Sometimes your offer sucks. Sometimes the industry you chose sucks. And you'll realize that sometimes a cold calling technique that you thought was good sucks, right? You're gonna make so many mistakes, but again, that's all part of the learning curve. So, after the results, I said at the start of the video that we're gonna be talking about something that has been repeated constantly amongst these 3 people, and that is consistency. After the first 30 days, everybody did the same thing. They did learning, and they focused 80% of their effort on outreach. And they just did that again and again. So no matter who you are, no matter if you have 1 hour a day, 4 hour days, 10 hour days, 20 hours a day, you do the same thing over and over and over again. It's all about consistency in business. Some people will get lucky, some people won't get lucky, some people will get clients faster than others, some people won't see clients for months, even years in some cases. So if you don't have clients by day 90, keep going. If you do have clients, keep going and just reinvest the money you make to get more clients. It's just a simple process of just doing again and doing again. Remember, this video is not a guarantee, it's just an expectation or a hypothetical understanding of what results can look like if you put 1 hour a day, 3 to 4 hours a day, or 8 to 10 hours a day of work into it. You might get results faster, you might get results slower, but at the end of the day, the roadmap is always going to be the same. So show up, do the work, keep learning and keep going, because it's all going to be worth it in the end. And that concludes the video. If this video has helped in any way, shape or form, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Remember to drop your questions in the comments and I'll answer to all of them. And again, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.